Welcome viewers to this video episode of Samvada, where we bring to you an interaction with the newly elected president of J Block RWA of Chittaranjan Park. A resident welfare association is a very important part of modern community living. It serves as a committee through which queries can be explained and issues and problems faced by residents be solved. The presence of a committee or resident welfare association also facilitates interaction amongst residents and gets them to contribute to the community welfare. Such open social interaction also improves the joy of living as a community. The conducting of activities for improving the environment and ensuring the security of the residents and their property needs and infrastructure and adequate funds to establish and maintain the infrastructure. The activities are numerous and perennial, though their forms may change with the changing times and the needs. One of the most important and expensive activity is the establishment of an efficient security system and its continued maintenance. Other normal activities of any RWA include horticulture, cleaning of the roadsides, rainwater drains and other parts of the area, garbage collection and its disposal, conduct of social functions, etc., etc., etc. There is a long list of such activities. A resident welfare association, however, needs to be registered under the government for it to be recognized as a proper association. A registered resident welfare association will this way be able to enjoy many legal benefits. Moving forward, let us hear the views of our invited guest today. Jaya, please introduce our editors and our guests to our viewers.
Thank you, Anindita. Good evening, viewers, and we welcome you all to another episode of Samvada in video. So today we have a very interesting episode for you, wherein we will be talking to a newly elected president of J Block RWA, one of the most efficient RWAs in CR Park. But before that, I'll introduce my editors to you. So today we are all, the entire team of Samvada, we are together again. And we have Mrs. Vandana Basu. She's one of our youngest members of our Samvada editorial team. And then we have Mrs. Asha Gambhir, Mrs. Chitra Sarkar, and my very dear friend Anindita Roy. So, and I'm Jaya Ray here. So, five of us, we basically represent Samvada in CR Park. And it has been a very, very lovely journey, beautiful journey, and a very learning experience for all of us to be a part of Samvada and to be a part of CR Park as a team, as residents of CR Park also. And I also take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Rajiv Dhawan. He is the newly elected president for J Block RWA. And today we'll be having a nice conversation with him and understand what is the success, what is the key to his success in being elected as the president, along with his team as in the RWA of J Block. So welcome, Mr. Dhawan, to this episode of Samvada in video.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your kind words. Thank you so much for inviting over.
So I'll just share a very brief information or profiling of Mr. Rajiv Dhawan. So he is basically a professional wherein he has had a very checkered career in consulting. And he's been traveling all over, the world in terms of undergoing consulting assignments. He is a graduate from St. Stephen's College, and then he did his management from International Management Institute, and then he, of course, started working. And apart from that, his interest in social has actually brought his obviously, and with the newly elected responsibility, I'm sure he had understanding about how to go about creating a very effective and efficient RWA. So we'll go across to Rajiv ji and we'll ask him the first question. Many congratulations to you, of course, on your victory as the president along with your team. So what we wanted to really understand from you is that first of all, of course, what was your election manifesto to begin with that really, catapulted you into this victory?
So thank you, Jaya, once again. And also, first of all, I want to thank you, Anindita, and then, of course, my very senior and very respected colleagues and co-fellow residents, Chitra ji, Vandana ji and Asha ji, who are there. We have seen them, we have frankly seen a lot of them as role models, and we take a lot of inspiration from them. Coming to your question, about the manifesto. So, I am one of those persons who always places the content over the optics, because for me, the content is very important of what we really want to say and what we really want to say and what we really want to achieve, So I think it has to be elucidated very clearly and very effectively, So because, I have been living in J Block, for the last 18 years, and this has been a very busy last 18, 19 years of my professional life with a lot of traveling around the world and globe, because, typically, men in the middle part of their life are probably at their busiest, because that's the time, it's not only the career, it's not only the work, it's also the fact that, you have your children growing up and you have other responsibility towards your aging parents and so many other things. So it's been a very fulfilling last 18 years here. And because, I have been a resident here, so obviously some of the issues were very domain and very specific to us, and those are the issues like, the outer, you mentioned security, for example. This was one of the most important points in our manifesto, And why it was an important point? Because, J Block has got something like about 192 or close to, let's say, 200 for the purpose of ease of understanding, plots, what we call plots. Typically, the most important size is 233 square yards, but you have some which are a little bit larger, and some maybe that could be, a little bit, slightly smaller also. But that's besides the point. Say about 200 plots. But over the years, what has happened is that because of the influx of the way, the builders' plots have now converted into builders' flats in lots of places. So the net number of families, that have grown quite exponentially. So today, while we have about 200 plots, but in terms of the kitchen dwellings, we are at a figure which is close to 500, today in the J Block. And the way the J Block is, if you see the geography of J Block, while we have got 3 large parks and 2 of them, which are what we call as basically the inner periphery, and those are pretty big inner peripheries in terms of the number of residents who are around those inner peripheral parks. But we also have a very, very large outer periphery in the J Block. And this is the periphery that stretches right from market number 1 as you turn right on the Kalyan Banerjee, Dr. Kalyan Banerjee Clinic Lane, which is going right up to the Mandir Lane. And you turn right from the Mandir Lane, then you again have a turn which is right, and then the road which is the one facing the K Block. And then when you come further down, which is a fairly long lane, and you have another lane which is in a crescent shape that faces actually the cooperative ground, which was also once upon a time under the domain of J. But what I mean to say is, and once that crescent ends, then you have again plots which are on the right side, which are basically facing just the main road. So which means that besides the inner periphery, you have a fair number of plots which are there on the outer periphery, and the security of those people is something that was flagged repeatedly, and that was extremely important for us to put it as an election manifesto. Now, when we talk about security, and we have been saying it to people that there is a manned element of security, but there is also an unmanned element, because you have to use the technology today. When you put up CCTVs, they are not supposed to be there just for the show of it. You have to actually have operative CCTVs. You also have to have a fact that you don't want to bunch all the security in one particular gate, because we have 5-6 gates, 3 of them are open, during the day, and only 1 of them is open in the night, but we don't want people to bunch together and sit in one place, because then it will not be able to take care of the large periphery and the areas that we have. So redoing the security bit is an extremely important part of our election manifesto, and how to make it more efficient and proficient, if I can say, to provide security to our residents. The other parts of the manifesto were things like, the Builders Code of Conduct. We have seen, over a period of time, that this is again something extremely important, because you have builders, and of course, it's a commercial part of the activity that happens. They have to build new houses, and that's perfectly legal and allowable. But then what happens is that in the process, a lot of the damage is also caused, whether it's to the water lanes, water pipes, which are there, or to the sewer lines, because we have in the CR Park in lots of lanes where the sewer and the water pipelines are actually running parallel to each other. So, and we have seen that, when these big trucks come with the construction materials, some of them do get damaged. Also, it can potentially cause damage to the gas pipelines. It can potentially cause damage to the trees overhang, to the electrical wires. So many things, So what we want to constitute is a specific builder's code of conduct where they will not only do a proper way of construction in terms of, doing the facade barricading, the noise mitigation, because, when they have these big hammers running, it can be awful, for the next door neighbors, Also, the way they stack the construction material, because the tendency is just to bring everything and just dump it there, but without realizing that whether it's needed then immediately or whether it's needed, 15 days down the road, So I think those kind of things which we want to address also in the Builders Code of Conduct. We also want to have a seniors connect, which is not only from the point of view that, the utilities and the services that are provided, because, you have a lot of the thelawalas, you have a lot of the people, the so-called electricians or plumbers or something. But I think it'll be good, if we can issue an authenticated list, which is for the benefit of our citizens, for everyone, because those are the people who have been vetted. Their fees and all they will not be charging, crazy amounts, because that would also have been vetted. And the fact that they have a captive kind of a market or a captive kind of a audience with the J Block, with the 500, 600 families who are there, would also mean that they also get the business, So this is something also that we want to do. The other things, like beautification of the parks and, making sure that that's an ongoing and a continuous process where we have to work very closely with the authorities. Because, RWO can best work as a team, but to work as a team also you need the support, absolute support of the MCD, the authorities, the Delhi government's support, because there are so many things that you're dependent on them, We recently had a water crisis, just to give you a small example, and we had to really run to the DJB, and to talk to the CEO. But then, because of the fact that we did have a good, let's say, outreach with Saurabh Bhardwaj, even though he was coming from a lot of personal issues and problems that he had faced during the COVID, but it helped a lot, at least to get the information out to the residents. It also helped to get the DJB tankers, which are free of charge, given to the residents, the ones who are facing extraordinary difficulty in getting the water because of the gradient and slopes in some places, And so these kind of things are extremely important also. Then we also want to do, a greater financial transparency. For example, issuing a financial report every 6 months, Unfortunately, it's not happened for the previous administration, and this is something that we really want to look into. If it means that to get better services, we need to go to our residents and to request them that, okay, look, we can get better services, but people have to contribute incrementally a bit more. I think this is something we will talk to them very openly about it and not shy away from asking them. Because I think the best way is to ask them directly. At the best, I'm sure, they can say yes or they can say no, but we will definitely make an effort for that. We also want to touch a little bit upon our constitution, which has been there for a very long time. And some of the elements are really outdated and they have, run through the time. Things like membership, lifetime membership, whether a rented person can actually vote or not, or whether a rented person can stand for election, those kind of things. And that's, we want to actually consult with within our election executive committee and talk with the experts and come out. So these are, Jayaji, the broader points, if I can say, the structure around which we actually want to, talk about our manifesto. Right.
Okay, so this COVID times are quite trying times also. So how did you prepare for the election and how did you conduct these elections?
So, the preparation from the election point of view, because, to be very honest, Anindita, this was, in my memory, the first time we had really an election in the J Block, in the sense that, where you have an election officer coming in. I think probably in the past we had an election officer also appointed, but that was more on a voluntary basis that people used to raise their hand and say that, okay, fine, I'm willing to take for this post. And there was really no competition kind of a basis, This time we had a proper election, if I can use the expression, with not only the election officer, with the rules of election announced by him, with the way the canvassing benchmarks have to be done, because we could only introduce the manifesto and ourselves on the general group, but you're not supposed to canvass beyond that. So we had to actually do things, a little bit like, an actual election, which means do quite a few things ourselves. And, really, in spite of the COVID, there is no substitute really for something called a door-to-door canvas. I really feel, you can talk to people on the phone, you can have a Zoom conversation, but sometimes, it's actually also important to, physically go down and see them, We were very careful that, and respectful, because we don't want to just knock on the people's doors and say, can we come in, because we know that, they have their own protocol and they'll not be probably so comfortable in many of the cases because of the fact that there's been a pandemic. But a lot of the citizens were very happy the fact that, we actually came and met them and, they offered us a cup of tea or a glass of water and said that, no, please sit down and, explain about what we want to really do and do those kind of things. And I think that was very good, the door-to-door part, of the canvassing, We also did, a little bit like that American style, which was like, get a team of 17, 18 people, as an election team, which was a mix of old and new. A lot of the youngsters were there, who were very trigger happy, if I can use the expression. When I say trigger happy, I mean mobile happy, So they were like, we can do this and we can do that. And, we can outreach on the social media. So, I think they were also great because they also contributed a lot to the content of what we wanted to say. And like I said in the opening part of my statement, for me and also for the team, we wanted to focus on the content, because we just don't want to go and meet somebody and then, say that, okay, please vote for us, but vote what? And what exactly do we want to say and what do we want to actually contribute? So I think the content was extremely important for us. And we focused on that. The team delegation was also important because, when you have a large number of residents living in a place, you can't have 1, 2, 3 people, addressing and reaching out to everyone. So we did, make a split, that, okay, fine, a person A connects with 10 residents, B talks to the 15, C talks to another 10. And most of the people, they reach out to those people, the ones with whom they are most comfortable with. For example, your immediate neighbor. You always know him better than somebody else, You also would know, your own friends better than, somebody else. So, so we actually sat down with a list and we kind of gave the delegation, to our team that, okay, fine, X will go to so many residents and talk to them or at least pick up the phone and ask them. B will go there and C will go there. And I think that also helps a lot in building a certain kind of symmetry to the whole election process, The fact that we visited 60 or 70 houses and a lot of them in the outer periphery also was also important because we didn't want to just remain it as a show that, we just, so we actually wanted to go out and talk to them and hear their thought process. We knew some of the houses we walked in that, okay, fine, we are not going to get the vote there, the vote there, but that didn't stop from to us, from reaching out to them, from telling them our point of view. And then, that's perfectly logical for anybody. And that's the right of any citizen, to vote to whoever he or she, feels the most comfortable or the most logical, So those were the kind of steps, that we took, in the preparation for elections.
I mean, I must say it was a very, very meticulously planned election, and we are absolutely, completely, totally impressed by your manifesto because these are the, the most pertinent points that all RWAs face, and most of them are always remain unresolved. So we really hope, and I'm sure you all will be really successful in this particular and this endeavor and in this complete that you're going to have. And I mean, one that is connected to this particular that how did you really handpick your team? What was the logic behind picking your team along with, of course, your own needs And I think here I would like to say is that, you know, that as the corporate, I think all of our corporate trainings and, you know, all that comes into play when we really want to go about it in a very, very organized manner. So yeah. How did you really handpick your team in this in your eventual victory?
So Jiyaji, what was for us very important was, we traditionally use the word that there is a winnability element to the team. But I think what was also very important, and, you know, personally for me, was the credibility the person brings to the table, number one. And number two, the comfort level that we have when we work and operate as a team, you know, because you have to have that compatibility and comfort level, you know, with working with each other and, you know, talking with each other. And I must say that in that respect, I was lucky, and that, we had an excellent team that came up on this. Mr. Indrajit Ghosh was already decided, you know, a couple of months back, because the selection was declared earlier, was deferred later on, but then we finally had it. And later on, you know, Sushmita ji, you know, came in on board, and she has been extremely active on the Kali Mandir, on the social activities, on the Posh Mela. She has a good pedigree of education herself in her life, and I think these elements, the fact that, you know, the person has got his or her own connect with the residents, you know, living there, was an extremely important element. And of course, the important element, the second, which was most important, was also that are we comfortable, you know, working with each other, you know, meeting each other, you know, sitting together, talking hours, and, you know, chalking out a strategy or talking to each other. And I think these were the two very important criteria, if I can use the word.
Wonderful. I think these are absolute takeaways for, I'm sure, the rest of the RWAs of CR Park, especially when, you know, we are going through such difficult times where people are already stressed out. And to add to that, if you have your colony problems cropping up, you know, today, tomorrow, every now and then, you know, morning, evening, then it becomes all the more stressful. But if you really have a very, very efficient, RWA, well-oiled machinery that is working at the back to make sure that the residents are safe and secure and they don't need to really worry about their surroundings, I think what better aspect could that be for a thriving colony, for a you know, well populated and a good. That is the most important aspect. Successful colony with happy people inside it. Of course, I think one more question that comes. We were just discussing, you know, the editors. We were just discussing a while ago. You know, we see a lot of encroached gardens, in front of J Block residence houses. You know, where people have just,
everywhere.
Yeah, which is there in all over Delhi, but we see a lot of that in J Block, primarily because, you know, they have such beautiful large houses and they probably just want to kind of have a beautiful garden in front of their house. But unfortunately, that's called encroachment in the legal language, in the legal parlance, and of course, it adds to a little bit of inconvenience for the per se. So, how do you think you can address this issue?
So this is, I mean, this is something which is not easy to address. And let me say very upfront to you. I'll give you an example. Today, for example, there was a huge downpour. It's been pouring, you know, constantly in the evening. Now, if you see the Mandir lane, you know, which is the backside, you know, facing the Kali Mandir, in that particular lane, because of the reconstruction, that lane, you know, if you had seen that lane about 5-6 years ago, that was pretty much the old houses, you know, but now, you know, it's all kind of redone up with the builder floors. And what has happened, you know, subsequently also in the process, that a lot of that coverage has come over the stormwater drains. So now today you have a situation that when you have a bad downpour, you know, you have very, very little stormwater drain capacity which is actually operated there. So I had actually, you know, a couple of calls in the evening, you know, where people raised this, that, you know, because they didn't have somebody to even, you know, kind of clean out the leaves, because there are only 1 or 2 stormwater drains that are operating. And if it is not desilted out, or if it is not cleaned out, it'll just fill with water and the water will spill over on the street, you know, very, very soon. So this encroachment issue or this extension issue is not just linked to, it's actually also a safety issue, you know. because in lots of places, we also find that, where like even in inner periphery, people have made these long extended gardens or kyaris, in front of the house. And, when you have a situation like that, you are actually minimizing the actual net road space, where you have either the vehicles plying or the pedestrians walking.
Yeah, even maybe the fire vehicle in case of the fire.
Yeah, exactly. And, when you have this, and today, we had a visit to one of the back lanes, and this encroachment is not just limited to the front lanes. We were amazed that in some of the back lanes we visited today, people have put these big banana trees, banana trees have got once they grow up, it's a very rigid kind of thing, So they have these bunch of banana trees right behind their house, where, they do whatever they want to do. But, because of that banana trees there, it's actually now reduced.
It's a safety problem.
Yeah. So tomorrow you have an issue. Let's say if you have, God forbid, an emergency like a fire emergency, and you actually need the fire brigade to go, and
that's what back lanes are for.
And that's what back lanes are exactly, for the utilities, for fire lanes, for access, even for the tankers, because if you got, for example, an underground pit on the backside of your house, then you need an access for that, And we found that this is real problem. Now, having said that this is the problem, and you ask that, if there is a solution, I don't think there is an easy solution, because this will have to be done, in collaboration with MCD, because, they are in their parlance, they would be ready to, issue a kind of a notice and then a challan, because, and these days, they are.
A poster, some kind of poster, do not obstruct the back lane.
Yeah. For backlane, I think probably it's to some extent easier to do, because at least that's not your frontage. The challenge is that, what people have done, in the construction process when they have actually covered the front part, is a big challenge, and then, to try and shake that part up a little bit, is going to be an issue, and I personally do not have, a very clear direction on that, because we need to sit in within our executive committee, take the views, thought processes of people. And then, if we see that there is a way out, then to involve the authorities, because that's the only way, and I think people have to have a little bit of self-discipline also for these kind of things. So that's what I wanted to convey.
In fact, to add on to this, another very problem that crops up in most of the, RW scheme of things is that, when there are gates which are have to be opened, and then the gates which are locked, people always perennially have a problem with that.
Yes.
And some people want it to be closed from X time to an X time, and then when those lanes have to be accessed, in terms of emergency times, then there's who has the keys and which chowkidar has the lock and responsibility to manage the keys and all. So as a very, very large problem, it's a very small look at it, but it becomes very large when there's an issue, probably in that lane or among some houses, construction, or maybe there's an emergency somewhere, has to be taken out. How do you want to resolve this, say, in terms of the gates closing, the keys, the responsibility of the keys, and the locking and the unlocking of the gates?
So Jayanji, this is not really, it's not really something which is rocket science. And at the end of the day, this is a simple matter of the citizens or the residents' cooperation. Everybody should understand. And I think people are logical, they can always have a dispute for the sake of, making a debate or a point. But at the end of the day, I think these things should be rather easily manageable, or at least simple, in terms of this thing that, there has to be an easy way to open the gates. And this should be something which should be, and if it is felt that it is required to be open, then it should be there. Now, problem that has happened, and which I've, kind of trying to understand also a little bit, is that there are people who say, no, keep it closed, or keep it closed from one side, because that will allow, maybe the cars from the other side to reverse park, and put it there, Some people say that, keep both sides open, and the others say, no, keep everything closed, on those sides. Now, these are no simple solutions. We need to use that space, for for what it is, if the parking is an issue, the surface parking, then I think personally I am in favor of the fact that we can use that. But then at the same time there has to be a access for people to walk in, because you can't have that whole thing becoming a jumble, you can't have 10, 20, 30 cars, in front of each other, because then it'll be another mess,
Yeah.
So I think certain directives we will have to issue, but in terms of easy access to open the gates, I'm absolutely for it, and not to become, kind of a political issue that, why the gate is open, I think that should not be like that. The gates have to be
open. In the neighboring
open
colony, this fire accident happened, and the people had parked around 30-40 cars in front of the closed gate, and the fire brigade could not enter.
Yes,
and the house was totally burned. It's a very neighboring colony news.
No, absolutely. This is the kind of thing, where I think people will have to be sensitive on this matter. That the access to those gates is not just because of the access, because for the lot of emergency and the utility services that you need. Yeah, exactly. And also in the backlands I've seen, in a couple of our own backlands we've seen that there are some very old trees. Now those trees have grown to an extent that because of them you cannot have even the fire brigades passing through.
Yeah.
Like today, we visited one lane and we saw that the tree is so big that if tomorrow, heaven forbid, something happens, that tree will have to be cut. If a vehicle has to pass through that, because it just kind of makes a canopy, that tree, and then becomes a very.
I think we remember seeing that.
Yeah. Although these things are, sometimes they are a blessing, but sometimes they become a bane when some emergency takes place. They have to be pruned and maintained.
They have to be planned.
We
cannot just have it in the bang of because it's a tree, we cannot have it at the middle of the back lane.
Right.
So it can be replaced
from the side.
Maybe
it comes to the other house. Like in back of my house, there's a bale tree planted by the other one, the other people, but it's come on my
garden. Yeah.
Yes. So no fire brigade can come.
Correct. And also, as Vandanaji was saying, the other important thing is this. The MCD people also told us that sometimes to even touch a tree for them, because they have a horticulture department.
Permission.
So the horticulture department's role is basically, limited to, let's say, tree pruning or let's say tree plantation, or providing you, let's say, support for, things like, the gardening and shrubbery.
But people want to do something wrong, they do it very easily. Nobody asks them.
Yeah. What I was saying is, if those MCD guys were to cut a tree, without taking a permission from the forest department, I believe that the ultimate lineage rests with the forest department. And we actually saw that day a case where one of the MCD officials was going to the court because he had to attend a hearing because he was himself put in as a litigant by the forest department of Delhi government, that because you have done this, so you have to come and account, and there was a penalty imposed on it. So, within their own departments also, they have to face these challenges, which is because of the multiplicity, that we have. So it's not an easy game for them also. I can understand,
So, Mr. Dhawan, one question that comes to my mind, and I'm sure you would also have something really, very close to your heart that you really want to improve. I would like to use the word improve, maybe for that matter. Maybe, of course, it's always for the better. So, what is it that you really want to improve or change in J Block as at the helm of the block's social and public responsibilities? What is it that you really feel that you want to change and you will be able to change with such an effective team that you just mentioned?
So, Jayji, besides the usual points that we have mentioned, as part of our manifesto, which we are very serious about, and also besides the other things, which an RW is usually faced with on a day-to-day point of view, that do come up, in front of us. I think what is to me extremely important is that a greater social harmony. This is, I think, extremely vital. Now this is something which is not very visible. Because it's you can say this is not a topic to do, or it's not something which you can visibly or tangibly measure. But I think it's an extremely important activity, because when we talk about social harmony, then to me, it's also encompasses, the gamut of social activities, the involvement of our residents, the greater participation in teamwork, and also, for the promotion of the youngsters in terms of the sports activities that is this thing, because it's an all-round development that is required, because it is when we are in a community with 500-600 residents or individuals who are living here, or even more, I think what is extremely important is that we need to build that social harmony, that bonhomie, and that ability, to kind of bank upon each other, to lean on each other, as a team, that if we can, work towards that goal. Because to me, this is an extremely important and a noble goal, All the other elements, if I can say, those are the elements which we can actually quantify in terms of to do more. But this is something, even if we are not able to quantify, but this is something which is extremely important, in my opinion, and I think this is paramount and should be the responsibility for this thing. We will continue, of course, with the greater outreach with the authorities, with the police, with MCD, with the Delhi government, and on all the other support, if I can say, the umbrella organizations, which an RWA is extremely dependent on also for a lot of things, to get done, But, when it comes down to what is there within our control, 100%, we also have to realize that, the building of social harmony, the outreach to our residents and citizens, a fellow feeling, is also an extremely vital and an important thing. So this is something I would like to contribute absolutely towards it. And that means also that, we respect our senior citizens, we respect our fellow residents, and we try and, kind of minimize any issues which are acrimonious or too political, because at the end of the day, it is not really important that he said that and I said that. What is more important is that have we looked at, developing a better kind of an atmosphere for us to, work eventually. Development only happens when you have actually a peaceful atmosphere, It doesn't happen, when, people raise fingers too much. So this is something extremely important.
And it's always, when whether, the is being resolved or not, it is not about, who is ultimately whether the issue has been resolved. That is the most important takeaway from the exercise and the activity, especially for a social organization. And organizations such as the RWAs, which are so so exposed to so much of opinion always, because it is to do with people, it is to do with a close community.
Yeah. And if I can just add one more phrase, you see, obviously we set out to do some things, Now, it's quite possible that, because of whatever reasons, that, we do succeed in quite a few, and maybe in a couple of them we do not succeed, But the objective and the endeavor would always be that, we have the heart in the right place, and that, we have tried our earnest best and the level best to make good of or improve upon that particular thing. So that, I think, is an extremely important element also, because people do sense that, yes, you are making an honest effort and you have this thing. And I think that's, and we are very fortunate actually that we have a very, very vibrant, a very intelligent, and a very involved community in J Block. This is, it's an amazing community, it's full of, a lot of people with very good creative ideas and very good thought process and very intelligent. So, I am personally very privileged, and I have the gratitude only to say that, thank you for the opportunity, to kind of lead you on this particular, in this particular term. So very, 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 very honored for that.
Sure, your passion, your drive, your energy, and all your team's, honest efforts will definitely resonate with each and every resident of J Block. And we wish you a very, very successful innings as a cohesive team. And I'm sure, and we also hope that, this team will actually create, examples of sorts. They'll set set examples for the other RWs to really follow and become successful, because CR Park is a colony of intellectuals, of educated people, and people who really resonate with development. They really resonate with a lot of progress, right there, because so we are all progressive people. We believe in progression, and we hope that is going to be the cornerstone for J Block, and to begin with, and then of course with the other RWAs. So it was a pleasure interacting with you today, Mr. Dhawan. We wish you all the very best and all the success in your endeavors, and thank you so much, Vandana Mashi, Chitradi and Anindita, for having such a delightful conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
And thank you, Rajiv.
Thank you so much.
Thank you everybody for joining
All the
in.
best to you, Mr. Dhawan.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chitraji. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you
Thank
viewers
you.
for joining us.
Thank you, viewers, and a
Thank you.
very good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.